Hello everyone, I'm Gayatri from Vartana. Thank you all for joining for today's webinar. I welcome you all on behalf of Vartana for this webinar series. In today's webinar, we'll be focusing on a very important topic, which is navigating change, adapting to the evolving Indian education landscape. So in the recent years, we have been seeing there are many changes are happening around education sector with respect to all the stakeholders, be it students, teachers, or the school itself. So today we'll be discussing about this in detail. So a small request from my end would be kindly be participate and engage throughout the session because this will help you to bring lot many changes in your classroom. And last but not least, you all will be receiving a certification from Vartana for participating in this webinar. Kindly stay throughout the webinar and fill the feedback form to receive the same. Let's quickly move on to today's session. So the agenda for today's session will start with an introduction and we'll talk about the session objectives. Then we'll also discuss about what are the trends in Indian education. And we have quite a deeper discussion with an expert. And then we'll look about lead school program. And also we have a Q&A session. Then we'll close the entire session with the feedback. So for introduction, I'll be launching a poll to understand the participant profile. Kindly submit your relevant option, please. All of you have selected your option. So in today's call, we have many teachers and we also have school leaders. Thank you all once again for joining this webinar. So we'll look at the objective for today's session. So we have three main objectives for today's session. One is to understand what are the emerging trends in Indian education. And second one, to examine technology's role in education and also to explore what are the adaptation and evolution the lead school program has done to meet the emerging educational trends in India. Before starting the session, let's have a quick understanding from our participants. So through a poll, I just want to ask one simple question to all of you. I'll be launching a poll now. So according to you, what are the major changes or trends you have noticed in the education sector over the past decade? Like from past 10 years, say 2013 to 2014, starting from there, compare it to 2024, what are the changes you have seen in education sector? Okay. I'm going to publish the result. As you can see, many of you voted for influence of technology in the classroom because right now we are seeing many influence of technology inside our classroom, and also activity-based learning is being used inside the classroom, and other options are like also given importance like concept-based learning, change in education policy. Thank you everyone for giving your opinion. Let's move on. So now let's understand what are the emerging trends in Indian education. Especially I would say post-COVID, there are like significant amount of transformation happened in education sector. Let's talk about one by one in detail. The first one being New Education Policy 2020. This NEP is like a super drastic change we all seen in education policy with respect to Indian system, right? Be it like the classroom structure framework, like 5+3+3, the structures which they have been implemented, or be it like the assessment based, like concept based assessment they are brought in, or be it like importance to teacher development, that like throughout they should have a proper development, or inclusion of arts and vocational to the mainstream. There are like huge amount or significant amount of change has been brought by NEP. That's one among the major change we have seen in the recent times. Second one, as everyone pointed out in the poll, online learning platform is another trend which we are seeing. During COVID, we didn't have any other option to continue in the classroom apart from online learning platform. Post even the lockdown has been over, children are back to school, but schools and teachers, students, parents have understood the importance of digital, and there is a continuous learning through online learning platform is happening. And third one is that you can see right now many people are talking about 21st century skills, like be it critical thinking, problem solving, or creativity. You have seen many people talk about it and their importance in students' success in the future. The fourth major change would be, or trend which we can see, is that importance or focus given on socio-emotional learning, which has been neglected in the past year. Right now, we talk a lot about like mental health of every stakeholder and also building that socio-emotional learning inside the classroom, where children able to understand their behavior, their emotions, so that they are able to like bond with other students and gain or create a enriching learning environment. And next trend, I would say inclusive education. Right now, we are looking for schools who have all the facility to cater to different learners, be it learners of different styles or ability. So we are trying to create an environment which include all type of learners in the classroom and providing same amount of education to all of them. And final one being competency based assessment. So we have seen in the past schools, be it schools, parent, teacher, giving lot of importance to grade, right? Mark. Like I want my children to get 100 out of 100 or 90 plus, 95 plus, without even realizing the mark does not going to do anything in the future. Only proper, deeper understanding of the concept will help the child to be successful in the future. Thankfully, the trend has been moved to competency-based assessment, where the children are required to develop their knowledge and skill to understand the concept, thereby having a proper understanding in everything they are set to go about it. So these are the major trends which we are seeing. Apart from this, there are a lot many trends are there, but these 6 trends have like major impact within the education system overall. So now that we have understood what are the trends, but now you might be wondering, I do know what are the trends happening, what are the changes happening, but how do I inculcate in my classroom? How do I overcome the challenges which I'm currently facing with respect to implementing any of these trends? So for that, we have our guest speaker. So our guest speaker is from Lead Group, Mr. Soham Mukherjee, who is a VP of a Lead Group. A brief about Lead Group is that it's one of the largest and fastest growing edtech in India. It has been launched in 2012 by Sumit Mehta and Smita Deora to transform the school education. So far, Lead School has partnered and also worked and impacted around 99,000 plus schools, which includes 50,000 teachers as well as 5 million students. And Mr. Soham Mukherjee is also alumnus of IIM Bangalore and IIT Kharagpur. He's associated with Lead for past 4 years, and he's been the responsible one for delivering great experience for 1,000 plus school. And importantly, he is a son of a government school teacher. Welcome you, Mr. Soham Mukherjee, sir, for this webinar. Thank you for your participation. I hope all the participants will have a very, very insightful experience and learnings from yours and your organization. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for having me. Really happy and really honored that I've been invited here for this talk. Very excited to speak with you and also understand from the key leaders in the call on how are they thinking about the changing education landscape in the country.
Thank you, sir. We are also equally excited to learn more from your experience and Lead experience. So moving forward, we'll have quite a good amount of discussion with our with Soham sir. Sir, so we do know like Lead has worked with 9,000 plus schools, and we also work with different schools. So from our experience, there are like certain amount of hesitation plays a major role with respect to school leader when it comes to technology, right? Whether my school will be able to adapt it or my teachers, my students will be able to adapt it. We wanted to understand from you, what is the role of technology in today's education, and is it really important? If it is, why it is important, sir?
I think very relevant question, Gayatri. Please don't refer to me as sir. I think teachers, school owners, principals, and professors are the ones really deserving of being called sir. So I think very relevant question. What is the role of technology in education? I think uh, if we just take a step back and look at India in the global landscape, right? India has around 27 crore student going children, right, which is the largest in the world right now. It's even more than China. And India has the most number of schools across the world. But in spite of that, I think what we have in quantity, we are somehow not able to manifest that in the quality of education in the country. So what we are seeing is that when you see the PISA rankings, where most of the countries participated, and India last participated almost a decade back, I think India didn't rank very well, right? So there has been a growing concern over the last few decades on how do you really improve the quality of education in the country. I think school owners, principals, teachers have taken a valiant task of really working towards improving the student performance. I think when I look at technology, from my experience, as lead has worked across 9,000 schools. Right now we are working, and over time we would have worked with across 15,000 schools. uh, I think that there are basically three places where technology can really help schools, right? I think the most important part is improving the student performance. Besides improving student performance, where we have seen technology play a big part is improving the teacher capability inside the classroom. And finally, to also improve how a school owner or principal is able to actually manage his running school, right? Because when we talk about large schools, then technology can also help there. So if I uh, if we go a level deeper, right, I think that might actually help our audience to also understand what do I mean by technology can actually help in these three things. So when it comes to student performance, what we have actually discovered over the last few years, as we have done extensive research with our students across the country, and one of the good things that we have been able to do is because we also run 5 of our own schools, right? So out of the 9,000 schools that you saw, that you mentioned, right? So 5 of those schools are our own that we run in Maharashtra in tier 3, tier 4 town, which is where gives us also the experience of the challenges of running an actual school, right? That puts us in a very uh, good position to actually test out whatever we are saying. So I think in terms of student performance, what we have really seen over the years is that there are different types of learners in the classroom, right? We have historically, when I was also growing up in a small town of Durgapur in West Bengal, it was mostly the teacher teaching us through the blackboard and the books, right? But what we have discussed, and there has been extensive research that also gone behind it, that there are actually 3 types or 4 types of learners in a classroom. Students who learn best by listening, students who learn best by seeing, and students who learn best by doing, right? Uh, uh, if you could just do a, I think if you do a poll in the audience also, that how many people consume news through newspaper or through YouTube videos, or through news channels or through mobile apps, I think we'll see different people doing different things, right? Uh, so even in the adult population, we see so much of different ways of learning happening. Sometimes we forget that the same thing is in the class, right? There are different types of learners, and when we don't use technology and we primarily do use the blackboard and the book, then there are the students who learn best by visualizing, or the students who learn best by doing stuff. They are actually falling behind. For example, if you uh, I used to take classes for ITJ students for 11 12, right? I remember there were concepts where even the grade 11 12 students used to find difficult just by reading, right? When I go to schools now, even in the primary sections, I'll tell you, I see when the teacher is explaining the solar system, or the teacher is explaining the photosynthesis process, without having to visualize it, just reading through the book, the child gets some understanding, but he's not actually clear about it. One, because he's not clear about it, and because he's not able to visualize what the solar system actually happens. For example, I think last month only I was in a school in Guwahati, one of our schools, and I was actually in a class where the teacher was teaching revolution and rotation of the solar system. And I quickly realized that the way she was teaching, of course, in our class was through videos and through an activity kit. Now, I try to visualize that without the video and without the activity kit, it is really very difficult for a child to understand the difference between revolution and rotation very clearly in their minds, right? Now, what happens when child does not fully understand is they try to memorize it, because exam dena hai, they have to pass the exams, right? So then they go to memorization, and when they go to memorization, the problem with memorization, time and again, I'm sure the teachers in the audience will also agree that uh, they will the child will actually forget. There will not be a retention of that information. Now I can see a question in the chat, that what do you mean by a kinesthetic learner? What I mean by a kinesthetic learner, ma'am or sir, is that a child who learns by doing. For example, say when you teach fractions to a school, right? When you teach fractions to a child in in the very early stage. Uh, a child is not very clear in his mind of what does 2 by 3 or 4 by 5 mean, right? Because they have grown up thinking about one apple, two tables, five people, seven bananas. Suddenly, the fraction concept is very new to their brain, right? And when we just start writing fractions in the board, we assume that the child is understanding, but there are many people in the audience who is not actually understanding what the fraction means. And once they fail to understand, to keep up to the class, they'll memorize. But instead of that, the way that I've seen, even in rural schools, right, we have so many schools. Out of the 9,000 schools, we have close to 2,500 schools that are actually in tier 3, tier 4 cities, which are rural bed, right? So there I can see that even the teacher uses a concrete, pictorial, and then abstract approach. What is concrete? She will start by doing simple things, that she'll bring two apples to the class. She'll cut two apples and say, this is 1 by 2, this is 1 by 2. She'll take two bananas and she will cut it into 4 pieces each. And then she'll take 5 pieces out of the 8 pieces and show this what means by 5 by 8. Then the teacher moves to pictorial by drawing pie charts and diagrams. Then she moves into abstract. Abstract means 2 by 5, 3 by 6, 3 by 7, and so on. So this is what I mean by that there are different learners in a class, right? And if if you don't use technology, if you rely just on books, for sure 30-40% of the students in the class will learn. But the remaining 60% of the students will be forced to memorize because they have not really understood, right? I think this is where technology can play a big role, because if the teacher has good lesson plans in her hand, if the teacher is able to show the right audio visual content compared to the book, and and she's able to do the right activity in the class, then the child gets more engaged in the class, and more engagement leads to better understanding, then better retention. I think the most difficult part as a teacher, because I've taken some classes, is when the child is looking outside or the child is not engaged. I think as a teacher, people in the audience will be able to relate to that whenever the children are not paying attention, that means somewhere down the line that we are not able to engage the child in the class. And I think technology can play a big role here. I think this is the first part where technology can play a big role. I think for teachers also, see, teachers have a lot to do. My mom has been a government school teacher all her life, right? And I know how difficult it has been for her to manage school, get me and my sister to school and through college with my dad, and still figuring out how to do better for our students, correct marks, ensure that everything goes smoothly. So I think teachers also need help. Some teachers need more help than others. I think technology in our schools, it has shown that with the help of lesson plans, which can be provided to the teacher, lesson plans that actually enable the teacher to explain the same concepts from the book, to show videos, and to also do activities. If you are able to make the class like a recipe for a teacher and give it in a hand in the form of a mobile phone or a tablet, then I think she's able to really do a lot more than she's currently being. Because right now she has to worry about, what do I cover? What video should I show? What do I ask them to read? What homework should I give? She needs help, right? Uh, uh, like the question that someone is asking of the child is also, how can a teacher identify different types of learners, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic inside the classroom? I think that's a great question, right? I think, ma'am, the best way to do that is you have to do some experiments in the class. I think the experiments line about, please teach the same concept. First, you just do it using a book and the blackboard. Then please try to play a video on that same concept. Do the first, which is a book and a blackboard. See how many students have understood. Suppose you have 40 students. Do check for understanding. After you have done that, you'll understand those students are mostly people who have understood by listening to you. Uh, uh, then what you do is you play a video or explain it to the students by explaining, say, the same concept using a video. Then see how many new people have now understood. And finally, if you are able to do an activity around them, uh, and then see how many more people have now understood that. I think once we do this for a few number of different concepts across 2 3 subjects, I think within 2 3 days a teacher or the principal or the class teacher should have a very good idea about who are what type of learners in my class. But then I think the biggest challenge comes is how do we enable the teacher? How do we enable the teacher to be able to address all these people, right? So the teacher needs to have lesson plans prepared. She needs to know exactly which part of the concept do I teach from the book, for what parts do I refer to the video, for what parts do I do a activity kit. Uh, I think that is where the integrated system that we have brought in uh, really has been very, very popular across the country, because it is not just enough to know the learner type. It is also very important to enable the teacher to be able to teach according to that learner, right? And I think beyond that, teachers need a lot more help. They need help for assessment creation, homework creation. They need help for doing remedials. These are places where technology can play a very big role. Technology can also play a very big role in enabling the school owners and the principals to be able to run the school better. And if you look at the new education policy, Gayatri, I think that clearly calls out that technology needs to play a much bigger role, right? The national curriculum framework also places a lot of emphasis on using digital resources in classes, using activities in classes. And what it also clearly calls out is providing personalized support to students. Now, what does personalized support mean? It means two things, right? One is what we just spoke of. If they have a different type of learner, then how do you cater to that learner? And secondly, there will be students of different learning levels in the same class. How do you give differentiated assessments and then remediate, right? So, I hope I'm not going too fast for the audience, but I think from my experience, as I go to schools and as we develop products and as I interact with teachers, principals, I think these are the places that I've seen technology to play a very, very impactful role.
Thank you for explaining beautifully, sir. I really like the way you put down, like, for us adult, it might seem like a very simple topic, but for children to imagine a simple concept itself tough, and technology makes sure that it's very easy for the teacher to deliver it in classroom in a better way. And I feel surface level it seems to be benefiting teacher, but ultimately it's benefiting the students, which is the ultimate aim of the school as well. So, sir, now we have understood what is the role, but from our experience, right, post COVID, importantly post COVID, we have seen there are certain hesitations or challenges the school leader used to face when implementing these kind of technology in the schools. You have said you have your own 5 schools and you're partnered with the different schools. So when you are integrating these kind of educational trends around technology, or be it like around policies, what challenges did you actually face while integrating all these things?
I think that's a good question. I genuinely believe that KDMs and teachers are all trying to make what is best for the child. I I I think the way that we look at it is slightly different. I think people will change if they see value in the change, and if they see that the effort required to do that change is not very high, right? I think those are the two principles with which we have approached this trying to improve learning outcomes in students, right? So what do I mean by that? I think one, whenever you use technology in classroom, I think first is that has to show real benefit. Using technology for technology's sense makes no sense, right? So I think one, it has to benefit the students. It has to start showing meaningful impact. Secondly, I think which is very important is can't be too much effort to use the new technology, because if there's too much effort, the teacher already has a lot to do. The teacher will reject that, which means then you'll have to force teachers, or the school or the principal will have to like really tell them you need to do this, without them being convinced on why am I being forced to do this, right? So I think for the teachers, it is very important for us that whatever solution we provide to the teachers, it actually improves uh, their life as well. So I'll give you some examples. For example, uh, see, last year we have launched a so as part of the teacher capability that we provide to schools, right? We provide lesson plans to teachers, which has audiovisual resources, uh, uh, which also provides uh, training, physical trainings for teachers, which also provides online trainings for teachers, and a lot more, right? For the teacher to be able to execute our books and our content in the best possible way. And when I mean our content is already high quality. We provide lead content, and we also provide Pearson content. I think these are both brands that the audience would be now familiar with. So uh, what we saw was that many of the schools teachers were facing a lot of time to create assessments, homeworks, and worksheets for students. Uh, and also because remediation takes a lot of time. Like, now, what is the difference between remediation and revision? Revision happens before an exam, remediation happens after the exam. So remediation is whatever is the gaps after doing the assessment, the teacher fills those gaps, then moves ahead. Now, when we went to schools, we realized that teachers were really finding creating a lot of assessments, homeworks, and doing remediation very challenging. Uh, but there were solutions in the market, but the schools were taking those solutions but not using them. And what we realized was that the problem with those solutions was that they were taking a lot of effort for the teacher. Now, if the teacher finds that even to improve the child's learning outcomes, if she has to get in and do a lot more effort, she will reject that solution, right? So what we did was we went back. We already had an assessment creator. We went back and we redesigned our entire assessment creating process. We named it a new product called Jasper, and we started giving free to any school that started buying our products, because we wanted more and more teachers to just find a lot of help. What we tried to do was we tried to make it very simple for teachers to create assessments. Within a few clicks, she could actually give our product what she required. She could tell our product what is the difficulty level she required, what is the level of the HOTS, MOTS, LOTS questions that she. HOTS means higher order thinking, LOTS means lower order thinking questions. She could also give our product the input of what is the type of question: short answer, long answer, match the following. And our product will instantaneously create a question paper for her. And then she could also edit that question paper. And basis the examination, once the teacher entered the marks in our product, which is the tab that we provide a teacher tab to every teacher in our schools. Uh, the product will also create a remedial plan for her to be able to directly take in the class. The product will tell her these are the gaps in your students' learnings from the examination. So you need to revise these specific concepts. Now, these started getting used very well in classes, right? Why? Because it was very easy to use, first. Second, it gave a big impact. So I think wherever these two conditions are met, it has big impact. It is easy to implement and use. I think this is less resistance. I think when one of these two things are missing, there is heavy resistance, which I find fair, right? Because the teacher has to manage a lot of things. And I think while for application of technology in a school, I think the school owner or the principal plays a very, very important role in changing the mindset. I think they are critical to take such important, decisions in the school on how do I progress my school, what is the direction in which I want to take the school. Uh, and I've actually seen that it is not always the fact that the most progressive school owners and principals are the ones in the cities. We have seen so many. I'll give you an example. I'm sitting in Mumbai right now. In Navi Mumbai, we have India's one of the largest municipal corporation schools. It's a municipal school. It's not a CBSE, ICSE, IB school, right? But just the school, just the lady principal, very, very experienced principal, she had this vision of really improving student performance, right? I think she was very, very certain, even though people around her thought technology works only in big schools, not in rural schools. She was clear in her mind on what technology can do, and this is one of the best municipal schools in the country right now. We have schools in all across the rural country. That we have schools in starting from Guntur to Agartala to Manipur. We have schools in 27 states. We have schools in tier 4 cities as well of interiors of Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, where progressive school owners, progressive principals have realized the power of technology, the power of really enabling the teacher and really enabling the child. And I think when I think that the school owner and and the principal has that mindset, I think that school then becomes really unstoppable in delivering what they want. Uh, so I think a long answer to your short question that yes, there are challenges, but if we design the product well, and if the school owner and the principal have the mindset, have a progressive mindset, uh, then I think the challenges are really overcomable. And when you overcome these challenges, I think school really starts seeing big benefits.
True, true, sir. So you also talked about how do you actually assist your teachers through your programs in adopting the technology. You can add points to that as well, sir. But I also really want to understand. You brought a very important point, right? The school leader might be very progressive. He might have bought a lot of products to their classroom to build the technology, but it will be lying assets there where teachers will not be using due to multiple reasons. From your experience, is there any tips or any suggestions you can give it to the participants for today's session where they can bring this change? I do understand mindset change is a huge thing which cannot happen in a day, but any tips or tricks which help them from your experience that like they can bring back that motivation in the teachers to get into technology and use it?
Yeah, I think this is a difficult question. This is a difficult question because I know sometimes the challenge that school owners face, right? In a school, my mom has been a principal, though I've been to her school when I was small, but I know some of the challenge that they face. Uh, I think the first and most important thing is to identify what is it that you want to improve in your teachers and your classrooms as a school owner or a principal, right? So I think that's the first step, because because every school has a different need. I think the usual needs that I've seen is one, some of the schools are facing a lot of teacher attrition, so they are not having stability in class. Some of the schools, they do not have really good quality teachers, and hence the classroom learning is poor. And then there are some schools where teachers are really experienced, but they are very they have, how to say it, high inertia to change the way that they do stuff, right? So I think as school owners, what I have seen is that when we also run our schools, we have seen two types of teachers in our schools. uh, I would not call them as good or bad teachers, but I will say type A and type B teachers. Like type A teachers are usually teachers, and I'm sure many people in the audience, if you guys are school owners, principals, they will agree with me that there are the first kind of teachers who are proactive, creative, genuinely bubbling with energy and want to do something good for the child. But they have their own creative ways of doing stuff, right? So what they want is they want, uh, as a school owner or a principal, I would want them to focus on the most important thing, which is delivering very good quality classes. So there I would try to explain to the teacher how technology can help her save time from the things that take up a lot of time. For example, help her with technology solutions that make you build assessments very fast, get student performance reports very fast, get you remedial plans, revision plans created for the teachers very fast, right? Uh, so then those teachers can save a lot of time from that. And since they are already good quality teachers, their creativity can fully flourish. Along with the resources and activities that we provide, they will add their own creativity to it, and they might even make our solutions better. uh, I think for these the type A teachers, the way to get to them and the way to change their mindset is by showing them how the technology will save time, save effort, so that they can focus a lot more on delivering great classes. I think for type B teachers, teachers who are either new inexperienced or teachers who are struggling to deliver good quality classes on a daily basis, I think they need a lot of help. So we have to, for us to be able to get to them, we need to explain to them why using technology will help her daily classes, right? So these are the teachers where they're usually not very happy in the classroom sometimes because the child is not engaged to them, because they're not able to deliver a highly engaging class. They find that the students are not engaged, which also becomes demotivating for them. That leads to a loop that the teacher is not taking engaging classes, the child is not responding, the teacher feels further disengaged, the child feels further disengaged, and so on. I think to her, we need to show her how a great class looks first, so that she understand that a great class is where there is constant dialogue between the teacher and the student, and there's a lot of learning responsibility that the child also takes. So uh, I think for these set of teachers, we need to tell them that technology can actually make their classes very, very engaging. And they will actually find the joy of teaching, which they are missing from some of the classes, right? So using a combination of books, videos, audios, fun activities, engagement activities, they can really transform their class into something very engaging. With the child responding to that engagement, the teacher will also get more energy. And I think that is how you need to start these type B teachers to start adopting technology. And once they adopt technology to use the lesson plans, audiovisual resources, activities, then slowly you can expect them to have more technology use, which is using technology for assessments and so on. So this is how I would try to approach, first by putting my teachers into these two parts, and then by solving and making them feel how technology will help their need, because the needs of the two different types of teachers and the mindsets are a bit different.
True. Thank you so much, sir. Like that's a very important point. Like school leaders need to understand what they want in the classroom and thereby helping the teachers to achieve the same. So since we are talking about school leader, I believe like whenever there is a trend or any other change in the education sector, the most stressed one or pressurized one would be the school leader because they have to bring all these changes in the school, making sure all the stakeholders are able to get it in the same page. So how do you help school leaders manage the school better, sir? Like with respect to all these aspects.
Yeah, I think the school leader's job is really difficult, and good that most of them don't look at it like a job. For most of them, it's the purpose of their lives, which is why I think they're able to manage. Otherwise, it's a very, very difficult profession to do. I think uh, I think there are many places where the school owner and the principal really focus a lot of their efforts. I think the first thing is seeing how the teachers are performing. I see a lot of principal time getting going on looking at how the teacher is doing and training teachers. Uh, uh, Second is, I think a lot of time goes to handle parents and communicate with parents. I think third also goes wherever you have big schools or multiple branches of schools, or whenever the school owner has maybe multiple businesses and school is one of the businesses, so they're not able to come to the school on a daily basis. I think there they also need to figure out what is actually happening in the school, right? So I think and then there are like a lot of administrative tasks like fee management, uh, ensuring people get admission certificate, transfer certificates, and so on. So I've seen these are the four buckets where a lot of the effort of the school leader or the principal goes, right? Which is seeing if teachers are doing well, seeing how students are doing, and managing expectation of parents. Third is just managing if you have multiple schools, and fourth is doing admin tasks. So I think we realized this really early on in our journey, and we have created a solution that is geared towards school owners. So wherever a school takes our products, we also give this solution to schools, right? And we don't charge extra for the school, because if the school is using our products, then our technology is integrated across the classroom, the parent, and the school owner. So for the teacher, there is the tab and there's a TV in every of our classes, right? And the parent at home, the student has a mobile app, and the school owner has a academic uh, uh, ERP, which we call Nucleus. Now, all of these three platforms or technologies are interconnected between each other, which means that whatever is the teacher teaching in class through her tab and a TV, the school owner gets to know from their room that these are the contents that has been done. So that saves some effort for them to know what is the progress of the class. Secondly, because the teacher teaching in class and the parent at home, the mobile phone and the teacher tabs are also connected. Whatever the teacher teaches, the parent is also told about it, that today your child learned these, right? And the school can seamlessly interact with the parent on the mobile app. On the mobile app, the basis what the child has learned in school, the child will be able to see homework assessments. They will be able to compete with with their fellow students through quizzes and all. They will be able to see celebrity master classes and so on. uh, I think this helps the principal to do two things. One is the principal to understand uh, uh, how is the class progressing and what is the communication to be done to the parents. Secondly, how we help our school leaders is that we also provide two types of trainings. We provide something called physical trainings in schools. After the physical trainings, the principals and school owners get reports on how their teachers are doing. That also helps them without constantly being in the classroom. We also have something called Lead Group Academy, which is a 24/7 training portal for the teachers specific to every school, where every teacher, as she completes trainings, uh, she will get certification. We also do live training. So the school owner, sometimes the principal does not have to spend so much time doing the training because we are doing the training for them and also letting the school owner know what trainings have been successfully done, right? Then there's the admin part. I think school owner can and the principal can always go through the list of students, change their information, see their fee details, look at the transfer data, map students to classes at the click of a button, right? So a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the register work, Excel work straight away goes out. So I think these are ways where we have tried to figure out. We have really studied school leaders from up close, and after studying school leaders from up close, we have identified these are some of the needs that the school leaders have to manage their school better. And accordingly, we have curated our product to that. And this is part of the regular product that we provide to all schools now, because earlier we used to sell it separately. But now, since most schools, wherever we go, our schools say they want something like this, and hence this is now part of our core product itself.
Thank you for saying that, sir. Like, think as you briefly mentioned about like how technology is important for teacher role as well as school leader role. We really wanted to understand. Finally, you said that taking all the inputs, you put it into your program and you like build that program and give it to all the schools. Finally, I want to ask like with respect to all the emerging trends which we saw in the first slide, like 6 major trends or beyond that as well, how the program has evolved in the years to address these trends, or what are the changes you have brought it to make sure the schools are also able to get adapt to these trends.
Right. I think with time our products have really evolved, and I think it means uh, I think like any other industry, even for education, if you don't evolve and innovate, I think the we become irrelevant, right? So I think over time we have tried to spend a lot of time understanding schools, a lot of time spending time with school leaders, teachers, students to understand what do they need, and over time our products have become better and better every year, which is why more and more schools are actually taking our products. So I think there are two types of evolutions that have happened. One is, I think we have realized that rural schools, and I remember one of the question at the start was how do we improve a rural school. uh, so we have realized that uh, the asks and what is needed for a rural school is very different from a very high fee city school. And then there is a school in the middle which is not which is neither a very high fee school, not a rural low fee school, right? So I think one of the key things that we has actually evolved in our product is, instead of providing the same product to everybody, because the teacher skills vary across these schools, the need of the schools vary, the affordability of the parents also vary across these schools, right? So one form of evolution that we have seen is we have built different products basis the need of the school. So now we have different products to cater to rural schools for them to become significantly better. We have products for towns and mid-fee schools for them to start becoming a leader school. And we also have products for leader schools to maintain their leadership. I think that is one level of evolution that has happened. The second level of evolution, I think, in um just the enhancement of the products that have happened. Now we provide books, assessments. We provide smart TVs and tablets to every teacher, activity kits. They have become better and better. We also have the Pearson entire curriculum with us now, which is something that we incorporated in our curriculum 2 years back. So now, as a part of the lead group, we both have the lead curriculum and the Pearson curriculum. So with the Pearson curriculum also coming in, we have evolved by looking at what are the best ways to teach, right? For example, I'll give you one major evolution that has happened in our form is the way that we teach English, right? Now, imagine how English is taught right now in a class. English is taught right now in a class. Looking at the same class, the teacher is assuming that everybody in the class is at the same level, and she starts teaching like that. But it's not, right? In the same class, the English language levels in the students is very, very different. And why English? Because English has a very, very important impact on the child being able to in future succeed in arts or science subjects. If English language capability is weak, the child will always struggle in science or art subjects. Now imagine, Gayatri, if you, me, and some of us went to take swimming lessons. The swimmer does not ask our age, right? The swimming teacher asks, what is your level of swimming? Are you a beginner? Are you an expert? Have you done swimming for 1 year? And basis that he decides on what uh, or how to teach. That is how you teach a skill, right? For example, be it driving, be it swimming, be it cycling. All the skills that we learn in life are not skills that are taught basis age. They are taught basis competency levels, whether I'm a beginner or I'm an expert. But unfortunately, English is taught at an age level, right? So one of the major evolutions that we have done, and something called English language and general awareness, which is a very famous ELGA program that we run, which is very popular in the rural schools as well, right? Where we teach English basis the level of the child. And that brings in remarkable difference, because the child whose English language are low, for them we start at a lower level and then take him up fast. For the child who is already at a higher level, we enable that child to become even better. So I think this is the way that the teaching of the English subject has changed and evolved for us. Also, if you look at math, science, in maths, uh, we have gone deeper into and we teach maths in the way that I was explaining fractions to you, which is from concrete objects at a early young age to pictorial at a mid age and then abstract at the higher age. I think besides these, our curriculums regarding coding and artificial intelligence is something that we provide has also gone up. We are the only provider that started first teaching artificial intelligence to our students, because the jobs of the future don't just demand coding but also demand understanding of artificial intelligence, right? So I think this is how, besides the evolution of the type of schools and their needs, this is how our curriculum has improved. And finally, I would say technology has become better and better, because we have the data. We are working with millions of students right now. We are able to improve our products. Our lesson plans have improved. Our TV and tabs work seamlessly. Our activity kits are the best in class. Our student app is the best student app in the country. So all our technology products have also improved, like time on time. I think with these, uh, we have seen a major evolution. Sometimes, because I've spent four years in this company, sometimes when I look back to the time when I joined, and I joined during the time of COVID, from that product to now, sometimes I find the product unrecognizable. It has changed and improved so much, right? So yeah, I think with the education sector changing and with us also working with more and more schools, we have also changed and upgraded our product, and we have been ahead of the market by at least 2-3 years.
Thank you so much for sharing that, sir. I think we had a very great discussion with you to understand like how technology plays a major role with respect to different stakeholders and how your organization have like faced challenges which might also the coming school leaders might face, and how we are supporting school leaders and teachers to make sure that the technology is helpful for all the stakeholders. And along that, I see there are other learnings that participants must be having, that have to understand the technology right now. We have to get adapted to it and also welcome it as a part of easing our job, and also making sure we are giving a very beautiful learning environment for the students, which we didn't get in the past years, right? So I think the school leaders can understand the importance of technology, as well as that the important point which you covered, the mindset change, which can be brought through a motivated and progressive school leaders guiding as teachers to make sure that entire school grows through all these efforts from their end. Thank you so much, sir. I would request the participants also, if you have any question to our speaker, please feel free to put on the Q&A box. So moving forward, sir, I'd like to hear more about your program, the key components of the integrated classroom solution. Over to you, sir.
Great. Sure. Can you just show the entire slides? I think the animation will take a lot of time. Yeah. I think to the school leaders and the principals, besides, so we have two kinds of products, right? We provide books, which is our Pearson branded books, Pearson curriculum books and lead curriculum books. But besides the books, I think something which is, so out of our 9,000 schools, close to 3,000 schools are actually running integrated products. Now, what does integrated products means? Integrated products are where we are actually helping the teacher and the school to teach using books, audiovisual learning, and kinesthetic learning, which is learning by doing, right? So there is a smart class in every classroom. There's a smart TV in every classroom. There's a tab in the hands of the teacher. The teacher teaches using the books and also the tab. She has lesson plans for every period. Every period, the lesson plans actually help the teacher go through and teach. So there's a recipe of minute by minute. How do you teach? It actually helps the teacher to identify which parts do I teach from the book, which parts do I focus on the video, which parts do I focus on the activities. So overall, this helps the teachers take a very good class. We provide the activity kits as well, so that the teacher and the school do not have to arrange for it. I think with this, the classroom learning really goes up with our high quality books, resources, activities, videos in classes through the TV and tab. Besides this, we genuinely believe in also teacher development. So teacher training and certifications are key to us. We have expert trainers across the country that goes to our schools to physically train teachers. As I said, for the school owners, we have the administrative ERP that actually helps the school owners run the school significantly better. And we have the at-home student learning app, which is the mobile app, right? Uh, if we go ahead, I think in the next few slides, I've tried to explain. I think one question is, what are the prices at which the services are offered? I think the prices are differ depending on what is. So products have, there are three products that we have, integrated products. The MRPs can vary from somewhere around 3,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees, which is for the parent. For you, the products, we can, well, I think, Gayatri or someone from the team can get us in touch with you for us to explain the prices to you guys. There are world-class books. So these are the things that we provide for the students, which is the audio-visual learning. You can see these are actually video photos from our classes, right? So this is how the class happens. You can see the activity kits being used, the books being used, the audiovisual learning being used in classes, right? We can go ahead, Gayatri, with the slides. And these are the things that we provide to the teachers. There's a teacher tab with lesson plans, teacher certification programs, and you can see our trainer. You can see the third photo where this is our training happening with the teachers. So we invest a lot in the teacher training. And once when people actually look at the entire program and then look at the prices, they're actually surprised because the prices are not that high, right? For rural schools, we also have special products where the prices are significantly lower, where the school starts paying us somewhere in the range of 2,000 to 2,500 per child per year, including everything. So books, hardware, teacher training, everything included, right? So the price that the schools actually end up paying us is somewhere in the range of 2,500 to 3,500, right? Per child per year. But at a slight incremental value from just books, there's a lot more that the school gets, and the teaching in class really improves, which is what we have been talking about. Uh, I think there are one or two more slides. We can just quickly cover that. Uh, so I think this was what I was very excited to show everybody this. I think uh, whenever besides all that I talked about, this is something that we provide. I don't call it free, but this is included in our package that we provide in the price that I just told you, somewhere in the range of 2,500 to 3,500 rupees per student per year for the entire year. That includes books as well, everything included. So here we have our assessment builder where the teacher is able to actually build assessments very fast, create homeworks, and do remediation plan really quickly for her to be able to really take these classes. And this uh, considerably reduces the effort that the child has to do, sorry, that the teacher has to do, so that she is able to focus more on really delivering high quality classes. uh, if we move to the next slide, there uh, we also have a lot of technology enabled for the school owners and principals. I was talking about these stuff, right? In the same price, these are also included: ERPs, digital assessments, and communication plan to the parents. I think when you see the product in front of you, you will really see the power of this entire thing together coming across: books, video resources, activity kits, teacher training, student app, and academic ERP for the school leader. When all of this comes together, I think it's a very powerful and magical impact that really happens, right? And we also help you execute this program very, very well in your classes. uh, I think if you just move to the next slide, uh, we provide something called an experience hub, where your parents, where you can actually showcase this to your parents and explain to them on what is the solution coming. We train your teachers well. We also train your admissions coordinator to be able to explain the solution to parents. Now, what all this does is this also helps the school get admissions, because the school is able to really differentiate themselves compared to other schools, and the parents really start understanding that my school is really investing in the improvement of my students. So that positive word of mouth spreads, and most of the schools that take our products, they see uh, uh, good amount of admissions increase because of the positive word of mouth that it spreads, right? So uh, I didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about lead, because I thought it was more important to talk about the changing education landscape. But I would really encourage you guys to try it out, to request for a demo. Maybe Gayatri or some other people from our team can reach out to you, and with that you can really evaluate what is the solution. There are 9,000 schools right now who are trusting us with their school. uh, I will really request you guys to look at how the education has changed in this country and explore such opportunities.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience as well as like how lead program is making a difference in the education sector. Thank you for sharing all your learnings and insights, sir. So to brief about what we had in this entire session, the first we were understanding what are the different education trends are there and how it helps school to implement innovative practice and improve student outcomes. And secondly, we saw how technology enriches classroom experience and thereby boosting student performance, which ultimately makes out the school to stand out in entire like the entire cluster or the state. Finally, we also saw how Lead School helps school to adapt these trends with this integrated classroom solution, be it curriculum or books, be it the digital classroom or teacher training, activity kits, and ERP. So here, as we have mentioned earlier, if you want to know about certain things or if you want to reach out to us for different things, please reach out to our email ID hello@vartana.com, and this is our contact number. If you want, you can take a screenshot of it and you can reach out to us like whenever you would like to inquire about certain things.